Hey y'all, it's your girl Danielle and this thing, okay? Look, and Chop, he been a good boy right now. But today I wanted to talk about toxic relationships. Now, y'all already know who I'm gonna bring up as an example, but yes, Chrisean and Blueface. And there's plenty of people right now who are on the forefront, and been, promoting and stuff with the toxic relationships. But when I tell you they at the top of the list, they are at the top of the list for a reason. Now, I ain't gonna lie. The motherfuckers is entertaining. They are entertaining. Okay, but when I go into the comments and I read people like, if it ain't toxic, I don't want it, and da-da-da-da-da, it's like, it just made me really want to talk about it because it's like, bruh, I empathize because I've been there before. And I wanted to really just go into like, why do we equate toxic with like, it being real? Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's almost like if it ain't toxic, like it's no passion. When I tell you I done been in toxic situations, and some situations were more toxic than the other, it's too much to even be like, oh, this is a story time this is a story time about that. So I'm just gonna break it up and break it down into how I relate. Now, when I tell you, I understand, because a lot of the times when you're in a toxic relationship, first of all, so many reasons why you would be in a toxic relationship and then stay and a lot of times it's because we wasn't taught no better, and we're trying to validate something, or we're looking for something that we think that we could find externally. And before you actually do the work of healing and understanding what you want and really knowing what you want, you go through these relationships and you stay because something about them feel good when you get to a good place. And it's like, of course, when it feel bad, but then when you get back to a good place, it feel like, damn, this must be real, because I'm putting up with this, or I ain't never felt like this before, or I ain't never been through nothing like this with nobody before. Ain't nobody ever went this hard for me. Like, you feel love through those situations when it gets back good. I feel like when I was younger, I had a relationship that was healthy, and I thought it was boring. When I tell you, I was like, we didn't argue, we didn't fight, we didn't have bad situations. I didn't have to worry about cheating. I didn't have to worry about disrespect. But when I tell you, I thought it was boring. I was like, it's no passion in a relationship. Like, how do I know? Like, you don't fight for me, or you don't have that, like if we get into an argument and I run, you're not chasing me. Like, I wanted that. I wanted somebody to chase and to fight for me and to be like, I wanted it. And it was just like, it felt like you don't even care, or you don't care that much, or you're not loving me the way that I need you to love me. And it was just like, bruh, that was when I had healthy relationships, and that's when I was like, bruh, dude, I even want a good dude, because I felt like I wanted bad dudes, because I liked messing with people who treated everybody else different, but treated everybody else the same, but then treated me different. And when I say that, like, you rude to other people, you mean, but when they come to me, you got a soft spot and this and that made me feel special. But then, of course, when things was bad, you treated me like everybody else. But when we made up and you start treating me back like that, and you actually chasing me, and I mean really chase, because I done been in situations where I'm really driving, going 70 over speed bumps and shit, and somebody chasing me. And of course, it was like, during that time, I knew it was bad. But then when they finally met up to me, and then they, I love you, and why are you doing this, and da-da-da-da-da, that passion, I really felt like that was love. That was more of love, us getting into a big ass argument and then making up, and then you expressing your love for me. Then that felt more like love to me than actually sitting down like two adults and being like, okay, what is the issue? It was like, no, I didn't want that. I want somebody to be like, what the f is wrong with you? Bid me up, girl, you know I love you, girl. Like that. And that shit is toxic. But I've been there before, bro, because it was like, first of all, I was young, didn't realize how much, sitting down like two adults and having an adult conversation was healthy. It was passion. It was love. It was like the way that God would want two people to be together and love each other. But back then, it was just like, nah, that ain't what I want. So it's like, I empathize with these younger people who are, you know, going through the shit that I went through when I was that age, because I felt it. I was thinking like, bro, this is real love. Like, people who really gonna fight for you. This is what that is. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I didn't have nobody correcting me. You don't see healthy relationships like that. What you barking at? But yeah, it's like, so it's like, my main question be like, with Chrisean and Blueface, when they doing all of this toxic shit, where they parents at? They being led by they feds and TMZ and social media. They get on live and they talk about their problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? Think about how much more toxic that is. Like, I grew up in a time where it was like, your relationships ain't on social media like that, so the level of toxic is like times 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't even imagine being in the shoes that they in, and to be pushing this for younger kids to really think that this is okay, or to really think that that's love. These are the people who are teaching the kids now about relationships. My main thing is that basically I just empathize with these kids nowadays, and I feel bad for them, but hey, they gotta learn, and they gonna learn. And the cold part is, the only way that you can learn is from going through it, and the only way that you gonna be able to like know what you do want and know what you deserve is actually going through these toxic relationships. Like, I'm just being 100. Like, if I never went through all the toxic relationships and situations and all the people, I wouldn't even appreciate who I'm with now. I wouldn't even see how healthy it is if I didn't go through all the unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? But it took a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Because when we got together, it was a lot of times I was in my head telling myself, like, respond different than how you normally would. And when I started really like thinking in my head, like, to approach stuff differently than I never have before, that's when I realized, like, damn, you the toxic one. I realized how toxic I was because of how I was reacting to stuff. You know what I'm saying? How I was how much of a part I played in it. You know what I'm saying? From being insecure, being jealous, being in them old toxic relationships made me suspicious about everything, made me question everything. And it was just like, bruh, like, it really do start with you. And how you respond to shit is going to play a big part in how they respond to you. And it's just something that you got to learn, but you got to go through. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Who is you barking at? Look, stop biting, child. Hi, baby. Say subscribe. Him to subscribe. Love y'all. Stay tuned for the next one. Stop biting, child. Stop. What's wrong? Help.